because what I do is I go on Facebook and I read what people write on Facebook in Hebrew, and I understand more and more and more how the Zionist cult is structured, how it operates, and how it brainwashes its members into supporting atrocities. And this is maybe one of the main questions that we need to ask ourselves. How is it possible that so many people are supporting atrocities? How is this enabled? And what tools the system uses to make this happen? And I think social media is a very important tool these days that enables such atrocities to happen, and especially Zionism. I think it made use of various forms of social media to increase its control of Israeli society, of Jewish Israeli society, and to make these horrible crimes that we see before our eyes every single day since October 7th, and every single day for years now, happen. Okay? It appears I am the only one here. No, you're not the only one here. There's actually 16 people. That's what it says on my counter. Yeah, okay. So again, hello everyone. Okay, so before we begin, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Recently, like a couple of weeks ago, I did my 5,000 subscriber special, Q&A special, and already we have over 5,700 subscribers, and this is amazing. I see new people in the chat, in the comments, every single time I upload, and I see people saying that they found the channel and that they're now going over all the videos, and this is amazing. I really want this message that I'm spreading to reach as many willful ears as possible, and I think only with a big movement of true radicals can we make actual change. Only with a big movement of true radicals can we achieve a revolution and change the planet for the better. So this is, oh my God, Bob, are you not tired? Are you not tired of coming to every live stream and writing your bullshit? I'm just going to use Bob's comment. He says, God bless Israel. If you hate Israel, leave. And this is something that I've been wanting to say. There is a weird coalescence between Zionists and a certain faction of the pro-Palestine movement. For some reason, they seem to agree that I personally should leave this place. And we did a live stream, Tamar and I did a live stream a week ago about our decision that we do indeed want to leave because things here have become really horrible. Both on like all different levels, and this is our decision to leave. But it's not about politics. It's not about listening to Zionists like Bob, and it's not about listening to a certain kind of pro-Palestine people who demand that I leave. But it is very interesting, this coalescence. I think if Bob writes too many messages, I will put him on timeout. But for now, we can make him an example of what kind of thinking Zionists display. If you can even call it thinking, this is a very broad use of the term thinking. Anyway, So, uh, what I want to do. Okay, so I said like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. There's a lot of new subscribers, and this makes me really happy because the bigger this channel is, the more I can take it seriously and make it my actual full-time job to create this content and to do the best that I can to promote a revolution. And the more people hear this message of true radical thinking and action, I think the more chance we have of bringing a revolution and making this planet a better place for everyone, for all living beings. Um, so, um, and I want to say on this note that when we reach, if and when, I don't want to presume, when we reach 10,000 subscribers, I will do another Q&A session where you can ask me anything you want, and I will try to answer as many questions as possible. So if you're not subscribed and you want to see this happen, subscribe to the channel, or if you are subscribed, send this channel to people who you think, the link to this channel to people who you think would be interested, so that they may subscribe and increase the chances of a Q&A session. And if you want to help me, again, share the videos of this channel, share the message, spread the message, or you can join my Patreon to help me support myself and make this my actual job. And the more I treat this as my actual job, the more content and the better content you will get. So this is the link to my Patreon. Okay, let's begin. So again, I want to explain what I'm going to do today. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, to show you what Facebook in Hebrew looks like. I think very few people around the world know what it looks like because they don't speak Hebrew. Hebrew is a very esoteric language, but it is a language that a lot of Zionists speak, and it is the language that the vast majority of Zionists who are now involved in, or more directly involved in the ongoing genocide of the Palestinians in Gaza and the oppression of Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza and Palestine in general and all around the world in the diaspora, the people involved in the oppression of the Palestinians mostly speak Hebrew. So this is a very important thing to understand. How does Hebrew Facebook work? And I have the questionable pleasure of speaking Hebrew. It can be a beautiful language, but recently, in the last few years, it has become more and more and more ugly. And at this point, I can say that the vast majority of things being said in Hebrew are disgusting. The vast majority of things being said in Hebrew are violent and murderous and genocidal. And this is a very sad thing for me, that the only language that I speak as a mother tongue has been desecrated so much and is being used for vile things, to say vile things. It's a very weird feeling. I can speak English quite well, as you see, but this is not my mother tongue. When I speak Hebrew, I sound differently. I am more eloquent in Hebrew. And it's very, very sad what has become of this language. But today we are going to read Hebrew Facebook, and I'm going to show you how some prominent people in Facebook, I wrote down a list of names. We will try to go over a few of them. And the goal is to show you what kind of discussions are being had on Hebrew Facebook. So I can go directly to like the most fascist places, okay? And this, it's so disgusting, okay? We will not go there, okay? We will not go there. We will go to liberal Zionists, okay? So that it's too... Maybe I should tell you that one of the ways that I learned about how vile Zionism is through Facebook. I would see all kinds of stuff happening on Facebook, and I would see Israelis commenting, and I would be appalled. And I didn't know how racist Israeli society is. I had an idea, but the more I read people saying horrible stuff on Facebook, the more I understood how violent, racist Israeli society is. And I think that this is a good way to understand, okay? And so again, I can go to like the really fascist parts of Hebrew Facebook, and this will be very, very, very disgusting. But so that it's not too shocking, I will start with liberal Zionist Facebook. Hebrew was revived less than 100 years ago, am I right? The story of the Hebrew language, and specifically and especially the story of the modern Hebrew language, is an interesting one. I'm no expert, but it is connected with the story of Zionism. So maybe at some point I will try to investigate more and complete the details for myself, and also tell you about it more. Scratch a liberal and a fascist bleeds. Okay, you will see direct evidence for this very, very soon. So let's begin. So I decided to begin to give the honors to be the first person that I do my Facebook research on to someone named Ortal Bendayan. Ortal Bendayan. So here she is, Ortal Bendayan. This is her Facebook profile. This is Ortal. And before we read her actual posts, I want to tell you who Ortal Bendayan is, okay? I will close some windows. Oh, wow, I have too many windows. So that no one's privacy is affected. Oh, no. Okay. So, Ortal Bendayan. Oh my God, Bob, you're disgusting. Bye-bye, Bob. Maybe if you know a way to permanently block Bob or other trolls, that would be nice, because he keeps coming to the live streams and being annoying. I guess when your channel becomes bigger, this is just a natural thing that happens. Okay. So Ortal Bendayan. Who is Ortal Bendayan? As you can see, she has a lot of followers, 23,000 followers. She is a big figure in Israeli Facebook, and she has been a big figure, a prominent figure in Israeli Facebook for over 15 years now. Over 15 years now. When she started off, she always wrote about politics. Okay, she wrote a lot about politics. And when she started off, she presented herself as a leftist. Okay, she said, I'm a leftist. And specifically, she wrote a lot about racism and oppression towards Mizrahi Jews in Israel. So what are Mizrahi Jews? Mizrahi Jews are Jews who did not come to Israel from European countries like Germany, Poland, Russia, and places like that. but from Arab countries mainly, from Northern Africa, from Middle Eastern countries, from Iran, from places like that. So these are Mizrahi Jews. And there is a lot of history about the relationship between Ashkenazi Jews, Jews from Europe, and Mizrahi Jews. And we can do, we can talk about this for hours and hours and hours. Um, but the bottom line is, what is the difference between Mizrahi and Sephardic? It's basically the same. Okay, it's basically the same. If there is a difference, it's a small nuance. Okay. I think Sephardic is more connected to like the type of Jewish religion that you have. But Ori, don't do spoilers, okay? I'm going to tell this. Don't worry. Don't worry. So Sephardic, I think, is more connected to the kind of religion, Jewish, the kind of way that they practice the Jewish religion, and Mizrahi is more an ethnic kind of thing. Okay, Mizrahi Jews have darker skin. But Mizrahi is a constructed identity. It's not real. It's not a real thing. Some Mizrahi people are Moroccan. Some of them are Iranian. Some of them are Syrian. Okay, it's like of Syrian origin, of Iranian origin, of Iraqi origin, of Moroccan origin. It's not really. They don't share so much beyond that they have a darker skin tone, and that their the original language of their ancestors is Arabic mainly, but sometimes Farsi. Okay, so I don't know. Okay, it's not really an identity. It's something that was constructed by the Zionist project. But the bottom line is that inside Jewish Israeli society, there is discrimination against Mizrahi Jews. Okay? Ashkenazi Jews control most of the resources, most of the top political positions, most of the power. And it is true that Mizrahi Jews are being discriminated against historically. My father is of Mizrahi descent. Okay, his mother came from Syria. Her family came from Damascus, and his father's family is an old Palestinian family. They have been in Palestine ever since the beginning of the 19th century, for like 200 years. But they originally came from the Shiraz area in Iran. Okay, so Mizrahi. My father is Mizrahi. Okay, Sfaradi, Sephardic. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. My mother is Ashkenazi. Okay, her father was born in Poland, in Warsaw. He came from Poland, and her mother, my grandmother, her family again has been in Palestine for generations. They arrived in Palestine in the end of the 19th century, but originally they came from a small town that is now in Belarus, in the area, in the country called Belarus. Okay, so again, Ashkenazi descent. And it is true that my father's family was more poor than my mother's family. It is true that my father experienced discrimination based on his ethnic background, because he was Mizrahi and his skin is darker. Okay? Just a true statement. And there is still, to this day, discrimination against Mizrahi Jews. And Ortal Bendayan built an entire career of being a Facebook political commenter centered around talking about discrimination against Mizrahi Jews. And I must say, please illustrate the discrimination. There have been studies going on Like, for example, they sent like resumes for like job openings, and the only difference in the resume was that it was an Ashkenazi name or a Mizrahi name, and the Ashkenazi name got more callbacks. For example, like this is an actual study that was done. What insults are used? A very prominent insult is ars. Ars is like chav, okay? In like British, chav, it's like a violent, low level, poorly behaved, impolite person, and yeah, ars. I think it means pimp in Arabic. Am I correct? I don't know. But ars is a racial slur. You would use it for Mizrahi Jews and not for Ashkenazi Jews, mainly. This, what I'm saying now, is the start of a discussion on Facebook that Ortal Bendayan would definitely participate in. Is ars a racial slur? And then you have the position of people who say, no, it's not a racial slur, it's about a kind of behavior, and I use it for Ashkenazi Jews all the time. And some people will say, Ortal Bendayan would say, no, it is a racial slur, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Yeah, ars means pimp in Arabic. Yeah. This is where it comes from. It's like calling black people in America ghetto and trashy. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, same kind of thing. Okay, so this is the kind of things Ortal Bendayan used to write about, but in my opinion, she did not write very deeply and interestingly about it. She is more. She was a master of clickbait, rage bait, creating chaos and not actual discussions. Okay. And I never really liked her posts on Facebook. Sometimes she would write something that opened my mind and was interesting to read, but most of the time it was pretty like superficial and like just, I don't know. Again, rage bait. She's a master of rage bait. Okay. Another interesting fact about Ortal Bendayan is that her husband is Chagai Matar. Chagai Matar is the chief editor of 972 magazine. Maybe some of you know 972 magazine from different exposés that they published in the last couple of years around how Israel, how the genocide is being conducted, exposés. Like Yuval Abraham's story about the use of AI, okay, in the selection of targets by the Israeli military. There were a few exposés on 972 magazine. So the chief editor of 972 magazine is Chagai Matar, Ortal Bendayan's husband. And Chagai Matar loves to say that he is a radical leftist. And I will not say my opinion about that claim at this point in time, but maybe we will do a deep dive into Chagai Matar at some point. I will only say that I could never stay married to Ortal Bendayan after her behavior in the last 20 months, ever since this horrible stage of the genocide started after October 7th. I could not stay married to her. I could not even spend 2 minutes in a room with her. And the fact that Chagai Matar still has a good relationship with her, I think, is interesting. Okay. So let's see what Ortal Bendayan has to write. Married to Chagai Matar, as you see. So we're gonna go to Ortal Bendayan's post. And to be honest, I didn't even think about specific posts to read, because it's all the same shit. Okay? It's all the same shit, and it doesn't, like, you will see. Okay? So, as you see, she is not very succinct. She is not very succinct. Maybe we will get to this post after, but as you can see, she gets a lot of likes for her post, a lot of discussions. Another, you see, a lot of likes. This one got less likes, was not as successful. Okay, maybe we will start from this. This is something interesting that I think many of you should already know about. This is a new report that came out. As you can see, it came out around July 10th, so like a week and a half ago. This report came out, and this is a report that denies that Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza. The name of the report is A Critical Examination of the Genocide. You see the scare quotes here, of the genocide allegations in the Iron Swords War. A critical examination. And this is a report that was written by academics. It's an academic research, and it's very similar in its function to the Dina project report that we went over a few days ago on live stream. It is a document that was created especially to be used by Zionists to deny that Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza and intentionally starving the people of Gaza. And it was written by people called, so the writers are Dani Orbach, who is a professor, I don't know in which university, Jonathan Buxman, who is we will talk about these guys, Yagil Henkin and Jonathan Braverman. Okay, so a few academics in different fields like sociology and law, and this study was written in Hebrew. But be prepared, it will soon be translated to English and spread around the entire planet. And you will see a lot of people pop up and use this report to argue with you and to say that Israel is not committing a genocide, and that there is a new academic study that proves it. Okay, so be prepared. Be prepared. And just like the creators of the report wanted, Ortal is using it for her goals. Let's see. So I'm using the translation of Facebook. In my opinion, the most important and useful thing that media persons, journalists, political activists, political activists and content creators can do with their time right now is to read this report, because it's an amazing and serious report. That these people, Dani Orbach, Jonathan Boxman, Yigil Henkin, and Jonathan Braverman wrote. Yes, a bunch of Ashkenazim. This is a very Facebook cannot translate this because this is a very Hebrew expression. Ashkenazim is like a kind of mocking term for Ashkenazim. Okay, so Ashkenazim al male, so like fully Ashkenazim, like super duper white. Okay, so the super duper whiteys, a bunch of super duper whiteys wrote this report. And I think what Ortal is insinuating here is that Ashkenazim should be leftists. Ashkenazim usually oppose the state, but Mizrahim, they are for the state. So there is like this weird. Okay, so Ashkenazim, they usually are of a higher socioeconomic status, and therefore they tend to be more liberal. Okay, Mizrahi people, Mizrahi Jews, they tend to be of a lower socioeconomic status, and therefore they tend to be more, overtly fascist. Most Netanyahu supporters they tend to be Mizrahi. Okay, so there is like this claim that leftists in Israel are usually Ashkenazim, and that right-wing people, that is overtly fascist people, are usually Mizrahim. This is like the claim. It's obviously not true. It's like it's bullshit. Okay, but where do Ethiopian Jews fit in this spectrum? Okay, Ethiopian Jews are even more lower on the ranking. Okay, they are of even lower socioeconomic status. It's like a different story. It's really difficult to explain everything here. It's really difficult to explain what Israeli society looks like, okay? But I'm doing my best. So she's like, oh, even though they are Ashkenazim, they are still on our side. They are still on Israel's side, and still they say that Israel is not committing a genocide. Okay, so they're with us. Okay, with us, the true Zionists, the true Israeli patriots. Not like her husband, by the way, not like her husband, who is an Ashkenaz, okay, who is an Ashkenaz and also a leftist Ashkenaz, and therefore a traitor. Okay, so she's insinuating that her husband is a traitor in this sentence. Lovely, right? The report deals with a serious and professional examination of the genocide. Claims in the Iron Sword War. As you see, she is very happy that there is a serious and professional discussion of whether Israel is committing a genocide or not. And she is very happy that this serious and professional discussion claims that Israel is not committing a genocide. Because these people are not biased. They set out to examine objectively whether Israel is committing a genocide or not. They did it in a very unbiased and objective way, seriously, using data and statistics and data analysis and blah 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 blah. And then they happened to reach the conclusion that Israel is not committing a genocide. I mean, the fact that they didn't think Israel was committing a genocide to begin with, and that their goal was to prove that Israel is not committing a genocide, is just so it's a happy coincidence. It's a happy coincidence. Okay. Anyone who has ever done quantitative research, like Ortal Bendayan, who is so serious, she did quantitative research, and if you doubt the results of this study, then that means that you've never done quantitative research, or that you are not good at doing quantitative research, or that you might be good at doing quantitative research, but you're lying now. You're so biased that you are blind, okay? Or at least studied quantitative research methods, has certainly been pulling hair helplessly for nearly 2 years now. Why have they been pulling hair? Because the amount of perverted claims being thrown into the air without preparation, without what? Without evidence, okay? Lies that duplicate themselves, circular citing of unreliable sources, drawing extensive conclusions based on a single unreliable piece of evidence, and far-reaching conclusions with a lack of factual and scientific validity have gained a grip around the world and become deeply rooted in social media. Wow, that sounds really serious, right? That sounds really serious. That all kinds of people are making wild claims and without any evidence to support it, at least not evidence of quality. And then, spreading allegations, serious allegations, based on nothing, basically. Based on nothing. The researchers took on themselves a crazy task, like a monumental task. This is what she means. When they decided to respond to this this is blood libel. Blood libel. She means blood libel. Okay, why is she using this expression, blood libel? Because blood libel is the expression used in the discourse about anti-Semitism in Europe in the 19th century, and of course in the 20th century, the mystical anti-Semitism that led to the Jewish Holocaust. So blood libel is very, very dangerous. And what she is saying now is that anyone who is blaming Israel for committing a genocide is engaging in blood libel. So this means that they are anti-Semitic and making up stories to blame Jews for things that are completely ridiculous and detached from reality, and that this is very, very dangerous because this might lead to another Holocaust, blood libel. And this, maybe you can find it like, okay, so she says it, but Israeli Jews, when they read blood libel, when they read this expression blood libel, it triggers something in their brain. This is an integral part of Zionist propaganda, okay? And she's using it. So blood libel in a scientific and she probably didn't say interesting. So scientific and matter-of-factly, like direct way, without making any assumptions. She means without making any assumptions. So the researchers who did this research are completely objective, completely unbiased, okay? But those who dare blame Israel for committing a genocide, they are anti-Semites engaging in blood libel, okay? There is no denial or attempt to downplay war crimes committed by IDF soldiers if there is evidence of that. So one of the tricks that the researchers used was that they conceded on a few very specific points that maybe some war crimes were committed, but this was unintentional. It wasn't. The order did not come from above, and this is, a mistake that will be corrected. Stuff like that. So you admit like a few specific things in order to make your denial of the heart of it seem more serious and unbiased. There is no denial or attempt to downplay war crimes if there is evidence of that. You see, so even when they admit that maybe some war crimes were committed, it's like non-committal, okay? Like maybe a few. And found, I need to go back. The translation is not very good. And she's saying, very brave of her. She's saying, if any evidence, where were we? Here. If there is evidence of that, and then she's saying, yes, and in some cases, evidence of that were found, because she is unbiased and objective. But a factual review that makes a real effort, a real academic effort to reach conclusions based on facts and not based on ideological position. Okay, she's describing the research as very, very serious. I have not finished reading the whole document. In my, I doubt that she even started reading the document, but never mind. I am now finishing the first chapter that deals with the hunger claim. They claim that there is no intentional starvation in Gaza, okay? Just zero. They make all kinds of silly calculations to prove that there is no starvation in Gaza. They make calculations with how many calories went into the Gaza Strip. And I don't know, I think that the moment you start calculating how many calories went into the concentration camp that you created, I think you're on the wrong side of history right there and then. Okay, but they did calculations with calories and they proved that there is no intentional starvation in Gaza. The researchers show step by step how inaccurate data, which is negligently distributed in the good case, how do you translate this expression? Which is if like the, I don't know how to say it in English, which is negligently distributed and maliciously in the worse and more common case. So she's saying there is the more common case and the worst, best case. In the best case scenario, it's like negligence, but in the worst case scenario, it's malicious. You see, it's malicious. But the common scenario is the worst case scenario. And this takes a grip on the public's opinion. This influences the world, the public opinion in the world, and it plays into the hands of all kinds of people who want to manipulate the truth, and it duplicates itself, and then it is spread all around the world, and it created this weird situation where so many people around the world don't like Israel. But it's not that people around the world don't like Israel because Israel is committing a genocide. They don't like Israel because they are anti-Semitic, or at least they have an openness to anti-Semitism. They are ignorant, they are stupid, they have been manipulated, they have been misled. And I will say what I think about this thing is when we finish reading. And what happens when you confuse all kinds of experts with empirical facts? Okay, so there is an expression in Hebrew: don't confuse them with facts. Okay, so when you want to insinuate that someone is biased and is just trying to prove a claim that they believe out of ideological reasons, and there is like a discussion, and someone says no, this is not true because 1, 2, 3, 4. So the joke that you tell is don't confuse them with facts. Because they don't like facts. They just like their biased ideological position. So she's saying that all kinds of experts around the world have been now they will be confused with facts. Okay, by this report. Well, what happens is exactly what I described here in screenshots. We will look at the screenshots. Every appeal of the correctness of the information makes... Oh, hold on. I need to read this sentence in Hebrew. ובכן, קורה בדיוק מה שמתואר פה בצילום המסך, כל ערעור על נכונות המידע הופך את התוהה והספקן לשוקן. Okay, so what she is saying is that all kinds of experts, I think she means experts here in Israel, here in Palestine, in my opinion, but here in Israel, in her opinion, she means that all kinds of supposed experts here in Israel have made the wild claims that Israel is committing a genocide, okay? But they do it, why? Because they're anti-Semitic. They're self-hating Jews, basically. They're self-hating Jews. They are driven by self-hate, um, and they don't rely on facts. They rely on their ideology alone. And when they are confronted by this serious and unbiased and objective report, when they are confused with facts, they just accuse anyone who tries to present actual facts, who tries to conduct actual serious research. They accuse them of being accomplices of the genocide. Okay? This is what she's claiming. And to be honest, I believe that the people who wrote this report are indeed accomplices in the genocide. Why? Because while the genocide is being conducted, they put out trash research, supposed research, with the express goal of proving scientifically that Israel is not committing a genocide, to deny it, okay? So that this can continue uninterrupted, okay? So I think that they are accomplices in the genocide. And I think that when Ortal Bendayan uses this research to do exactly what this research was intended to do, which is internal propaganda for Zionists, okay? This is propaganda meant to convince Zionists that everything is okay, that even though tens of thousands of people have been murdered in Gaza, maybe hundreds of thousands, we don't know exactly, even though they are hearing about starvation, even though they are hearing the entire planet talking about how Israel is committing a genocide, everything is okay, don't worry, it's all lies. It's all lies, you can remain calm. And this is the goal of this propaganda, okay? Go read and learn. Read and learn. If you still believe that Israel is committing a genocide, then you are ignorant, you are misinformed. Go read and learn, and then you will arrive at the correct conclusion, that which is that Israel is a-okay. There is no problem with Israel. And then by the way, maybe you noticed how condescending she is. Maybe you noticed how condescending she is. And this is a recurring theme in everything that she writes. I think that Ortal Bendayan is a classical narcissist. And I think that the Zionist cult is full of narcissists. I think that Zionism is a collective narcissism, okay? And it is true that inside cults based on collective narcissism, and all cults are based on collective narcissism, the people who are most narcissists, who are the best narcissists, they rise to the top. And this is why when she writes in Hebrew, Ortal Bendayan gets 785 likes. She gets 783 likes, okay? She's very popular within a certain faction of Israeli society, okay? So she's very condescending, and this is because she is a narcissist. So on the sidelines, by the way, I don't know if you had a chance to read the post in which Udi Aloni is the son of Shulamit Aloni, who was a prominent left-wing politician in Israel in the 80s and 90s. And Shulamit Aloni was the leader of the Meretz party, the most leftist Zionist party back then, and still to this day, although Meretz is basically non-existent at this point. And she was very hated, yes, indeed. She was very hated in Israeli society. She was still a Zionist, and her son, Udi Aloni, is now a self-proclaimed anti-Zionist, okay? And of course, Ortal Bendayan hates Udi Aloni very much, because he writes on Facebook in an unapologetic way against Zionism, okay? So she calls him It's not infant. She said like infantile. She says Udi Aloni is infantile. This is the way that she thinks about Udi Aloni. You see, Zionists just curse. And he called for Ortal Bendayan to be put on trial in the International Tribunal for encouraging and aiding a genocide. And at the same time accusing me of aiding and denying the genocide. And what does she mean? She means that this is an obvious contradiction. How can I both participate in denying the genocide and in encouraging the genocide? This is such a stupid and infantile claim. But of course you can do both at the same time. You did do both at the same time. You did encourage the genocide and did deny that it is a genocide. You said, this is good that it is happening. This should be happening more. And also, everything that is being said about what is happening is a lie. Yes, you managed to do both at the same time because you're a liar. Because you're a liar and you don't care about your lies being consistent. This is a basic property of Zionism. They say the most common reaction of Zionists to reports of the crimes of Zionism, of the crimes of the Zionist army is, this didn't happen and it's good that it happened. It's almost a joke at this point. Whenever you see Zionists reacting to the crimes of the Zionist army, you will see that it's two parts. It didn't happen, and it's good that it happened. It is not clear how you can do both things together. Yes, it's not clear, but you still managed to do it, Ortal. You still managed to do it. But Udi Aloni will receive a huge lawsuit from me very soon. Ooh. See, and when Zionists fail to convince people with actual discussion, they turn to threats of violence. In this case, using the system. But sometimes they will use actual physical force. Okay, so as you see, Zionism is in a nutshell, and you see this post. Okay, let's read her latest post. We will do it a bit more quickly. Oh, and just to finish up, so the pictures in this post. So this is the picture from the research. Oh, she said that she put images that demonstrate the reactions of leftist Israeli experts. She links to the file. Blah 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 blah. Okay, she didn't put screenshots of people telling her that she is an accomplice. I don't know. Okay, never mind. Let's go to her latest post to see what she writes. Let's go to her latest post. Here it is. See translation. Let me tell you something without me doing any research. Okay, so now she's like, okay, now I'm going to express my opinion without the factual basis of the serious research of Danny Orbach and his accomplices. The translation is not very good. Maybe next time I do this, I will translate the posts in advance, okay? If we're talking about definitions, this is not a good translation. If we're talking about definitions, then this October 7th massacre is attempted genocide. So in the chat, someone is writing, Ortal is definitely getting pressure from higher ups on the Hasbara chain to write these posts. No, I disagree. I think Ortal is doing this of her own volition and her own free will. She truly believes everything that she writes. She thinks that she is doing good. Is it just ego? It's, yeah, she's a narcissist. She likes the attention. This is the kind of thing that you need to write on Israeli Facebook if you want positive attention, if you want people to like you, if you want people to support you. She is a leader of some clique, okay? The self-proclaimed leftists, but she is one of those leftists who woke up on October 7th. Okay? It's she's a grifter, kind of. Yeah, definitely. She's a grifter. Yes, she's a grifter. She has been a grifter for like 15 years. Yes, yes, definitely. Definitely. So she loves the attention, she loves the support, she gets a lot of love for it. A lot of people really, really appreciate her for writing these things, and she is certain that she is doing a good thing that serves her country, that serves her people, that fights anti-Semitism, that fights racism all around the world, that fights people who are just blaming Israel in blood libel. Okay, she really believes that she is doing good. I think that she truly believes it. Okay, no one needs to pay her for it. No one needs to threaten her or encourage her in any way to do it. It's just, this is why I'm reading these posts, so that you understand how rotten Zionist society is. Okay, this is the thing. You don't need to pay anyone to write this hasbara, this propaganda. They do it of their own volition. It's something that is reinforced in society. Everyone is reinforcing each other. Okay. So, if we're talking about definition, then simply speaking, the October 7th massacre was attempted genocide. There was clear intention by Hamas. There were written and verbal orders to kill every Jew from baby to adult, whether it's a baby or an adult. And there, let me go back to Hebrew. I expected the translation to be better. And we have what was actually done on the ground, and we have the facts on the ground. Murder for the sake of murder, accompanied by sadistic pleasure and calls of Allahu Akbar. Okay? So, in the chat, someone is saying Ortal should read Omer Bartov's New York Times op-ed. The debate is over. Her research won't make any dent. Okay, I need to refer to this because you are naively, no disrespect, okay, but you are naively assuming. I understand why you would assume this, because you assume that she is that her mind works somewhat normally, but it doesn't. She is a deranged Zionist, okay? She doesn't care about facts. She doesn't care about logic. She doesn't care about arguments. She doesn't care about data. She doesn't care about research methods. She doesn't care about quantitative research or qualitative research. She doesn't care about anything. She cares about getting likes on Facebook. She cares about getting support from her followers. She cares about supporting Zionism and serving the system and the cult. This is what she cares about. She will not be convinced by reading a serious document that proves that Israel is committing a genocide. Okay, she shouldn't read Omer Bartov's document. Okay, she shouldn't, because it won't make any difference. She doesn't care. All she cares about is pushing in the direction of the genocide. This is why I think she is an accomplice in this genocide, as the vast majority of Zionists are. Oh, hello, Tamar. Tamar finished work, and the first thing that she wrote in the chat is, I despise Ortal, vomit emoji. I share Tamar's sentiment. Her latest post is next level. Yes, this is what we're reading now. Tamar, if you feel like joining us, you are welcome. If not, then that's okay as well. You've been working hard lately, helping me with the channel, so that's very appreciated. But I can do this on my own. Okay. Colleagues, not colleagues. Kalgasim. Kalgasim. Kalgas is like Kalgas is like a violent policeman serving a fascist country. Okay. Look at how everything is projection with Zionists. Every single accusation is an admission of guilt with Zionists. Okay. Look at the fucking projection. She calls them Kalgasim. Kalgasim is people who serve in a fascist police force. The IDF soldiers, the soldiers of the Zionist army, they are not Kalgasim. But the fighters of Hamas, they are Kalgasim. Okay? A complete inversion of power relations. But this is something that rings true for the vast majority of Zionists. Okay? So like the SS, yes, the SS is like the ultimate example of Kalgasim. Okay? Kalgasei ha-SS. The Kalgasim of the SS. Okay? Classic narcissistic projection. Indeed. Kalgasim entered the settlements, so the settlements around the Gaza Strip, in the envelope. The envelope is the name, Otef Aza is the name of the settlements around the Gaza Strip. Okay? And one of these settlements is called Magen, which means shield in Hebrew. Human shields. The settlements in the around the Gaza Strip are literal human shields to protect the rest of Israeli society from the cruel invaders of Hamas, and moved from house to house systematically. They entered, they shot, they killed. If they couldn't penetrate the, what is MD? What? Okay, I see. Oh, she repeats herself. She is very poetic in her writing. Another sign of narcissism. If they couldn't penetrate the safe space, mamad is safe space, they burned the house until the Jews there burned to death. If they tried to escape from the smoke and suffocation. So she's describing, vividly what the Hamas fighters did on 7th of October. She's relying on cold hard facts. She's not making up stuff. They went house by house. When they finished murdering the families in one row of houses, they moved to the next one so thoroughly and with adhesion to the mission goals. Okay? So she's saying that what Hamas did on the 7th of October was systematic destruction because she's trying to prove that it was a genocide. And if they didn't manage to kill someone, then they kidnapped them. No evacuation alerts, not like us. Not like the Israeli army. Not like the Israeli army, the most moral army in the world, that before they bomb a house, they give evacuation alert. Okay? They alert the inhabitants of the building to leave the building before they blow the building up to smithereens. And if you didn't know about the evacuation alert, if you didn't hear it, if you didn't have time to leave, then it's on you. If you die, then it's on you. Or on the Hamas terrorist who was in that building and we tried to kill. The most moral army in the world. No humanitarian spaces. So now she's referring to the new plan by Israel Katz, the Minister of Defense, of Israel, the Minister of Security of Israel. She is referring to the new humanitarian city that they are starting, the new concentration camp that they are starting, the new extermination camp that they are starting inside the Gaza Strip. And she's saying that because Hamas didn't organize a humanitarian city, because Hamas didn't initiate a concentration camp for Israelis in Israel, that means that they are evil and that they did try to commit a genocide. This is her claim. The shocking massacre revealed many truths that were obscured under many nice words. I agree with this. For the first time, Ortal Bendayan is saying the truth. It did reveal many truths. What happened after October 7th was that a lot of people in Israeli society revealed their true face. I know this firsthand. A lot of people who I thought were non-violent people, were people who wanted peace, were people who cared about their about others, were people who weren't racist, who weren't nationalist, who weren't militaristic. A lot of these people revealed themselves as raging, genocidal racists. And Ortal Bendayan is one of them. Ortal Bendayan is one of them. But she doesn't mean her or anyone else in Israeli society. What she does mean is those, let's see who she does mean, an undisclosed part, like what does she mean? What does she mean? She means a big part, or a not insignificant part of, let's see. Yes, a not insignificant part. And she says definitely not all, because she is very balanced, because she is very objective, because she's not an extremist. No, not all of them. Not all of the pro-Palestine movement. I don't know. Does she mean her husband or not? Is her husband part of it or not? But she's saying a not insignificant part, definitely not all, of the pro-Palestine movement. The translation is very bad. Next time I'm going to translate the posts in advance, okay? So that I don't have to go through this all the time. Oh, a not insignificant part, not all, of the pro-Palestine movement seeks to destroy the state of Israel. This is what she says. She found out after the 7th of October, she found out, maybe try putting it into a different translation site like DeepL. Maybe I should, maybe I can do it right now. Let's see. DeepL, I've never heard about DeepL, but let's see. DeepL translate. Let's put it here. Let's see if the translation is better. Hebrew detected. Okay. Yeah, that's better. That's much better. Oh, looks better. Yeah. Okay. Better. Okay, thank you so much, Metmanik, for the suggestion. This is going to make this video much better. Thank you. Really appreciate it. A significant portion, certainly not all of the movement to free Palestine, seeks to destroy the state of Israel. She was surprised to find out that some people in the movement to free Palestine don't think that the state of Israel should exist. The nerve of those people. They want to free Palestine, but also they don't want the state of Israel to exist. I mean, okay, you want to free Palestine, okay. But wanting to dismantle the state of Israel, that's taking it too far. This revelation hurt me. She didn't know that the people of the movement to free Palestine were so extreme that they actually didn't like the state of Israel and didn't think that it was a legitimate state. And they think it shouldn't exist. This is just crazy, right? I knew there were such voices. Okay, she heard about it. Sometimes she heard about it. But I believed that they were marginal. She believed that only a marginal part of the movement to free Palestine didn't think that Israel is a country that should exist, is a state that should exist. I closely followed the movement's demonstration around the world immediately after the massacre. I did not see a single sign saying 2 states for 2 peoples. Why don't the people in the movement to free Palestine believe in what I believe? Why don't they take advice from me? I will explain to the people of the movement to free Palestine how to free Palestine. I, as a Zionist, I, as someone who is an integral part of the system that is oppressing Palestine, that took over Palestine, that constructed a colony called Israel on Palestine, will tell you what you need to aspire to. What you need to aspire to is the 2-state solution. 2 states for 2 peoples. This is the way that we free Palestine. The way that we free Palestine is we let Israel continue existing on the vast majority of the area of Palestine. How do you not understand this? This is such a classical example of liberal Zionist thinking. They never, ever bothered listening to anyone who supports the freedom of Palestine and their arguments. And if ever anyone from the movement to free Palestine tried to challenge them and explain to them what they actually believe in, the immediate thing that they will do is brand them as a lunatic. And how do I know? Because this is what they do to me all the time. Okay? I did not see signs calling for peace and reconciliation. I did not see signs calling for everyone to live under one state. That's what? Now I'm thinking that this is probably not a correct translation. No, it's a good translation. It's a correct translation. She is seriously claiming that the movement to free Palestine does not support one democratic state. She's seriously claiming this. Oh my God, it's even more insane than that. The message was from the river to the sea. I'm dumbstruck, okay? She is seriously saying, okay, so look at these 2 sentences. I did not see signs calling for everyone to live under one state. The message was from the river to the sea. Ortal, you fucking idiot. When we say from the river to the sea, What we mean is one democratic state where everyone lives equally. Jesus Christ. There is no place for Israel. Yes, there is no place for Israel because Israel is an ethno-state. What we want, the movement to free Palestine, wants one state from the river to the sea that is not an ethno-state. A state where citizenship is not based on ethnic background. You understand? This person who presents herself as a serious person, who presents herself as a deep, intelligent person, whose husband is supposedly a leftist who's part of the movement to free Palestine, she doesn't understand still today, to this day, she does not understand that when people who support the freedom of Palestine say from the river to the sea, what they mean is one democratic state for all inhabitants between the river and the sea. How many times have I said this? How many times have millions and millions and millions of people all around the world have said this? For decades and decades, you're right, Dusty. For decades and decades and decades and decades, we've been saying this. And Ortal Bendayan is so obtuse. She is so closed off to anyone trying to speak sense to her that she didn't understand the bit. This is amazing. Why are Zionists like this? Because they will not listen for 1 second to the people who are supposed to be their ideological rivals. How is Chagai Matar? Her husband is mind-boggling to me, Tamar is saying. Like, do you never talk and listen to each other? Also, how can Chagai stand her? This is something that I said in the beginning of this live stream, Tamar. Like, how can they spend? It's amazing. It's amazing. Chagai Matar is the chief editor for 972 magazine, for the leftist 972 magazine. You know what? I'm shocked by this. I'm shocked by this. The protesters saw our massacre as an opportunity to come out with full force and vigor and call for the liberation of Palestine from the river to the sea. Yes, Ortal. This was the goal of Hamas on October 7th. This was their goal, to put the issue on Palestine on the world stage, to expose the depravity of Zionism and to make people talk about Palestine all day, every day, and they succeeded. Yes, they succeeded. But at the same time, something else happened. Supporters of the massacre, many from the Free Palestine movement who saw it as a legitimate military action by indigenous people, were shocked by the outrage it aroused among decent people around the world. They were shocked. I don't think that anyone was shocked that the massacre of October 7th caused outrage around the world. I don't think that anyone was shocked. It was something that was very, very violent. And I wasn't surprised that a lot of people around the world were shocked, were outraged by what happened on October 7th. I think it was to be expected. Okay. A good example of this is the interview that was given by Razi Hamad. I don't know who that is. Razi Hamad, a senior Hamas official, to the BBC. It was shortly after the massacre, and Hamad was asked about the killing of children and families on October 7th. When he was unable to confuse the interviewer, as he usually does, because he's a master manipulator, because Hamas always manipulates. But the spokespeople for the IDF, they're straight talkers, you know? They never, ever lie or manipulate. They never obfuscate the truth. he left the interview in anger in the middle of the broadcast. Okay, I wasn't aware. I don't know what happened there. I'm assuming because it's Ortal Bendayan writing this, because it's a Zionist writing this, I'm assuming that this is a less than fair description of what actually happened there. I am guessing that the interviewer was not really listening to what Razi Hamad was saying, and this is why he left. This is what I'm guessing, okay? There were other cases like this. The pro-Palestine movement, which is used to being only in the position of the absolute victim, encountered perhaps for the first time with such intensity, the shock of Hamas's heinous attack. So what do you think they did from that moment on? Okay. Let's continue reading, and then we will see what her point is. From the very first days of the war, she calls it a war, of course, they began working on constructing the narrative that Israel's war against Hamas was actually genocide. Okay, so here is how Ortal Bendayan sees what happens. What happened? What happened in Ortal Bendayan's mind, and I think she truly believes this. And at the very least, Messi wants to step out of the room. 1 second. So I think Ortal Bendayan truly believes this, but in any case, this is what the opinion that she wants to spread, because she is a tool of the propaganda system of Zionism. Okay? So here is what she says happened. What happened was Hamas tried to commit a genocide in Israel, and the people who were calling to free Palestine were like, oh my God, this is so inconsistent with the way that I perceive the world. I was always positive that the Palestinians were the eternal victims, that Palestinians could never do anything wrong, that Palestinians are, each and every Palestinian is a complete angel who could never hurt a fly, okay? But now my naive perception has crashed was crushed by facts and reality, and now I need to solve the cognitive dissonance because I saw Palestinians being violent, and I couldn't imagine that any Palestinian would ever be violent. This is the way that I perceive Palestinians as saints. This is what she thinks. She thinks everyone on the movement to free Palestine truly believes naively that every single Palestinian is a saint that could not be violent ever. But because we got this, this wake-up call, this harsh wake-up call that also Palestinians can be violent, we had to cope with it, and we had to solve the cognitive dissonance. And we had to save the narrative. We had to manipulate the media around the world to go back to supporting the Palestinians. Okay. So what we did, what leftists around the world and also in Israel, she's going to talk about leftists in Israel as well, what we did was to make up a narrative that Israel was actually committing a genocide, not based on fact, not based on actual reality. We made up this narrative to invert so the world reacted, everyone around the world reacted correctly to what happened on October 7th. They were correctly horrified, and they were correctly on the side of Israel and against the Palestinians. But the manipulators, the master manipulators in the movement to free Palestine, who probably control all the media in the world because they probably have like tentacles, like they are an octopus that has tentacles controlling all the media around the world, the Free Palestine movement that controls the world, flipped the narrative, and they presented Israel as committing a genocide to stop to stop the world from talking about the actual genocide that was committed on October 7th. This is what Ortal Bendayan truly believes, and this is what Ortal Bendayan's followers truly believe, and this is the kind of message that she is spreading, and this is what is convincing Zionists to support the actual genocide being committed by Israel. Okay, this is the kind of thing that she is saying. Look at the inversion. Everything is inverted. Everything is inverted. I think at some point I'm going to need to explain why fascism loves using inversion, not just distortion, but inversion. Why inversion is such a powerful tool for fascist propaganda. Okay, but here you see it: inversion. Everything is inverted. Okay. Here in Israel, most radical leftists were really confused. In the first week, they either kept quiet and didn't say a word about the massacre, or they rushed to explain why it was an inevitable indigenous uprising. So, I was not silent. I did not keep quiet on the first week after October 7th. I started speaking on October 7th, not super publicly, but like 2-3 days after I did speak publicly. For real, is she being paid for this? No, she is not. I do not believe that Ortal Bendayan is being paid for this. I believe that she is doing this of her own volition because she truly believes that this is the right thing to do. She truly believes what she is saying here. So I was not silent. And yes, I said that what happened on October 7th was an inevitable uprising of indigenous people who have been oppressed for 75 years. You know why I said this? Because it's the truth. Because if you oppress millions of people for decades and decades and decades, for generations, then you will get backlash. Yeah, it's just a fact. You know who agrees with me on this? The commanders of the Israeli army. The commanders of the Israeli army, the commanders of the Mossad, the commanders of the Shin Bet, the higher ups in Israel's security system also agree with me that you cannot keep millions of people under oppression and not get backlash for it. You know who also agrees with me? Anyone who thinks about this for 2 seconds. Of course, if you oppress millions of people for generations, then at some point you're going to get backlash for it. Well, what is so crazy about this? What is so crazy about this obvious factual claim? They were in limbo until the IDF entered Gaza. I was not in limbo. And just so it's clear, the Israeli army attacked Gaza on the 7th of October. On the 7th of October, already Israeli airplanes, Israeli F-16 airplanes were already flying above Gaza and dropping bombs, many bombs on Gaza. On the 7th of October, already hundreds of Palestinians were murdered in Gaza as a response to what happened on October 7th. Before Israel finished defending its borders, before Israel finished defending its citizens, already it was attacking Gaza. Already. Okay, so there was no limbo. This is a lie. This limbo is a lie. But the followers of Ortal Bendayan will not recognize this as a lie. They will gladly believe that this is true, and they will not even try to remember or to be critical of this text. Okay, they will not try to remember what actually happened. They don't care what actually happened. They care about the story. And this is again a very characteristic thing of Zionism. They don't care about what actually happened. They make up a story. They retroactively change history to fit their narrative. And you see Ortal Bendayan doing this in real time. She's just changing the fact this is not what happened. Which they protested, of course. Yes, we protested. We protested the Israeli army killing a bunch of people, hundreds and thousands of people in Gaza without any real reason. Yes, 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 we protested it. Yes. And from the moment the IDF entered Gaza, they returned to their normal selves, to a place where they always. So, okay, so the only reason leftists in Israel support the Palestinian cause is because it's convenient for us. It's so convenient for me to go against my entire society. It's so convenient for me to go against my family. It's so convenient for me to go against my friends. It's so convenient for me to not be able to have a normal job. It's so convenient for me to be hated by everyone around me. It's so convenient for me that people threaten me with violence, to get death threats, to get rape wishes. It's so convenient for me to be cursed by everyone around me. So convenient, so nice. I only do it because I like it. I only do it because I like it. Ortal Bendayan is an objective observer who's doing the inconvenient thing of saying what everyone around her wants to believe and getting praise for it. What I'm doing is the convenient thing of saying what everybody hates me for saying. This is what Ortal Bendayan thinks about me, and also her husband, probably. To a place where they always know how to respond and who is to blame. They needed a crime on the scale of genocide. Oh, we needed it! We needed it! You know, if Israel weren't committing a genocide, I would support Israel committing a genocide. Don't cut this out to display me out of context, but this is what Ortal Bendayan thinks. She thinks that I wanted this genocide to happen. She doesn't think that I predicted this genocide happening, which is what happened. She thinks that I wanted it to happen, that it was my wish for it to happen. And that when it happened, I was so happy. Because finally I could say what I wanted to say to begin with, which is that Israel is the perpetrator here. To a place where they needed a crime on the scale of genocide to make sense of the world after October 7th. Okay, let's say that this is true. Let's say that this is true. Again, with Zionist arguments. It's both false and irrelevant. Because let's assume that this is completely true. Okay, but Israel did do the genocide, right? They did kill tens of thousands of people, or maybe hundreds of thousands of people, right? They did do it. So if those leftists who are the Free Palestine movement, who are the worst enemies of Israel, wanted this genocide so much, why did you give it to them? Why did you give them what they wanted? Okay, the war in Gaza is terrible. And the war in Gaza is terrible. Oh, thank you so much, Ortal Bendayan. After 7 paragraphs that you finally give the lip service of saying that the war is terrible. Oh, the war is terrible. And the price paid by innocent people in Gaza is enormous. So maybe the objection that maybe that we protested it, maybe the fact that we protested it was justified. Maybe the reason why we protested it was because it is terrible and that the price paid by innocent people in Gaza is enormous. Maybe that's why we protested it. Maybe not because it's psychologically convenient for us. Maybe because we want to oppose crimes on a consistent level. What does she think of the war in Lebanon? I don't know. Maybe we can find out what she writes about it. I'm assuming that she doesn't write anything about it. And if she writes anything about it, then it's support for it. Children dying, even if they are the children. Oh, so generous of you, Ortal. So generous of you. You, in your enormous grace, in your unimaginable grace, you are willing to concede that even the children of a Hamas official should not be. Oh, you don't say that they should not be killed. You say that it's bad and painful because children are never to blame and are always innocent. Wow, Ortal. Such a saint. Such a saint. But war is a terrible thing. But war is a terrible thing. Why is she saying that war is a terrible thing? Not because she opposes war, but because she supports war. She's saying war is a terrible thing. This is what do you want? War is a terrible thing. This is liberal Zionism 101. Yes, it's said. It's said. What do you want? War is a terrible thing. But war is a terrible thing, and in such a long war, there are also serious cases of war crimes. What do you want? They wanted war. War is a terrible thing. In war, there is war crimes. So what do you want? Okay, so what is she saying? There is no way to justify October 7th. There is no justification for October 7th. And if you say that October 7th is an inevitable result of decades and decades, generation of extreme oppression, then you're just trying to solve a cognitive dissonance because it's convenient for you to think this. But if you're saying, what do you want? This is a war. In war crimes happens. This is just the way of the world. This is just the way of the world. Then it's not about solving cognitive dissonance. It's about looking at reality for what it is. She is such an objective person, you see? War crimes must be dealt with in the harshest manner possible. Again, liberal Zionists love to say things that they don't really mean. War crimes must be dealt with in the harshest manner possible. Why does she feel comfortable saying this? Because she knows that it will never happen. Because she knows that this is dealing with war crimes in the harshest manner possible, or in any manner, is something that Israel has never done. It's not something that Israel does. Okay, so she feels comfortable saying it because she will never have to answer for it. The laws of war are intended to introduce a minimum moral standard into the brutal chaos of war, but they are not intended to protect terrorists who murder babies. Okay, so what is her claim? Her claim is that war crimes should be punished in the harshest manner possible, but if those war crimes were committed in the attempt to annihilate terrorists who murder babies, which are anyone is a suspect of in Gaza, then okay, maybe they shouldn't be dealt with in the harshest manner possible. They cannot be a chain of immunity for monstrous terrorist organizations. So Ortal Bendayan is now speaking just classical Zionist propaganda, the classical liberal Zionist propaganda. This is the propaganda being spread by the government. The propaganda is, we need to annihilate Hamas because Hamas did October 7th. October 7th is unforgivable. Therefore, we need to annihilate Hamas. If we need to annihilate Hamas, we need to wage war on Gaza. This war can continue indefinitely, and anything that is committed within this war is justified. Maybe some of it is war crimes and they should be dealt with in the harshest manner possible. Not really. But this is war. This is life. What can you do? The situation in Gaza is particularly complex. Oh, complex. The liberal Zionists love complexity. Almost everyone understands that because of Hamas's exceptional use of the human shields, civilian population, and the nature of warfare in urban areas. There are many innocent victims. Hold on. This is not even the end of this post. Too long. We will finish shortly this amazing text. Maybe next time we will read someone who is more succinct. Okay? Maybe next time we will read a more succinct text. Okay. The situation in Gaza is particularly complex. Almost everyone understands that Hamas's extraordinary use of civilian population and the nature of warfare in urban areas result in many innocent casualties. Okay, so she's just, repeating normal Zionist propaganda, just repeating it in an automatic fashion. You can argue that Israel has no right to fight Hamas because the price of Hamas's use of the civilian population is too high. You can argue this. What can't you argue? You cannot argue that Israel has no right to exist in the first place. You cannot argue that this entire thing is unjustified completely. You cannot argue that the fighters of Hamas are just resisting the oppression that they and their people have been suffering for generations. You cannot argue that Zionism is a colonial project. You cannot argue that Zionism is an inherently genocidal project and should be dismantled immediately and completely. You cannot argue this. What can you argue? What can you argue? And you can argue this only so that Ortal Bendayan will explain to you why it's completely bullshit, why it's complete bullshit. You can argue that Israel has no right to fight Hamas because of the price of Hamas's use of the civilian population is too high. This is what you can argue in Ortal Bendayan's mind. This is the acceptable domain of discussion according to Ortal Bendayan and people like her. Anyone who claims anything outside that domain of discussion is a lunatic and should not even be, should not even be dealt with. Okay, it's like they're lunatics. They don't even exist. Go ahead and argue that. Wow, Ortal, thank you so much for allowing me to argue what you want me to argue. Say that the price of innocent civilians, the price innocent Palestinians are paying for the war against Hamas is too high for your liking. Argue about it. It is a legitimate argument. Thank you so much, Ortal, for making up the argument that you want your political rival to use, and saying, okay, it's legitimate, and an important one to have. Oh wow, Ortal, such grace. But do not invent genocide to deal with the horrors of the. It's not 1971. I think it's it's not 1971. It's the 7th of October. 7th of October massacre and the damage it caused to the Free Palestine movement in the global public relations arena. The movement to free Palestine has completely failed, right? In the global public relations arena, right? Everyone in the world is now against the movement to free Palestine. Everyone in the world loves Israel. Everyone in the world hates Palestine, right? They completely failed. It is despicable to cooperate with this. It's not despicable to cooperate with genocide, but it is despicable to cooperate with the movement to free Palestine. That's what Ortal Bendayan thinks. The study, she mentions the Holocaust denial study. The study in question by Orbach, Boxman, Broverman, and Henkin deals with this blood libel against, she loves to call it a blood libel, in a serious manner. The study delves into the claims and data. Nowhere you see how Ortal loved this study, loves it. She loves it. She loves it. People like Ortal were just waiting for a serious academic research that disproves the genocide blood libel so that they can use it to create internal propaganda that minimizes what Israel is doing in Gaza, justifies what Israel is doing in Gaza, defines the limits of reasonable discussion, and thus enabling the continuation of the genocide. Nowhere does the study claim that the IDF is not at fault because they are so objective, that no crimes or anything of that nature occurred. Instead of getting caught up in emotional tantrums, the people accusing Israel of the blood libel of genocide are just in an emotional tantrum. We're not rational people. We're crazy, we're insane, and we are experiencing an emotional tantrum. We can have a discussion about the facts. Let's have a rational discussion about the facts, like Ortal Bendayan, like Danny Orbach, like Jonathan Boxman, people who will be remembered in history for their heroism. Those who are unable to discuss facts without manipulative emotional blackmail and without using toxic language should go to Twitter and find out the price of the blood libels they are promoting around the world. So this is the last paragraph is just, classical narcissistic inversion and behavior. She is threatening me. She is saying that I am emotional and that I cannot engage in serious discussion based on facts. Okay, she's saying that I cannot engage in serious discussion based on facts, that I should go to Twitter and that I should learn what my actions are causing, that I should learn that I am spreading a blood libel, a dangerous blood libel that is increasing anti-Semitism all around the world. And she's not saying this outright, but what she's implying is that I am responsible, or at least partly responsible, for a potential, genocide of Jews, whatever. And she's threatening here. She's saying, you should go and find out what your actions are causing, and if you don't, be careful. This is a veiled threat. So, classical narcissistic behavior. Okay, so this was Ortal Bendayan. Again, this is what Ortal Bendayan looks like. This is the lovely woman who is busy writing posts on Facebook that are an integral part of the Zionist propaganda machine, meant to both deny and justify the reality of what is going on in Gaza, to tell Israelis who might start thinking about, oh, maybe it's wrong to support this, maybe people around the world are angry with us, maybe they have a point, maybe they know what they're talking about, maybe there's some truth to this, maybe the images that I've been seeing are not all deep fake. Maybe people who start, having these dangerous thoughts, Ortal Bendayan comes and assures them that serious academics and researchers, serious political commentators like Ortal, objective people who have no bias, who have no interest here, who are led by facts and logic and rational thinking and not emotional, manipulation, they will come and they will explain to you very carefully how everyone around you who is telling you that there's something wrong with what Israel is doing is actually anti-Semitic or a victim of manipulation by other anti-Semitic people, by the manipulative movement to free Palestine that created a narrative of genocide to divert the attention from the actual truth of the genocide of October 7th. Okay, so this is what Ortal Bendayan is doing. Okay, so I had more windows open here for other people like Hanoch Daum, like Tomer Persico. These are different flavors of this. Tell me in the chat, tell me in the comments on this video if you want this series to continue, because I have a list on my phone. I have a list of many names of people that like, here is the list. Okay, a lot of names of people that I want to do like this Facebook study on, to read to you their posts, to show you what they've been writing. Another thing, another variant of this is that I can look at specific people and go back, scroll down to October 7th and show you what they were writing after October 7th, okay? Because I think that the period, let's say 2-3 months after October 7th were the most representative of what happened to Zionists, okay? How they became completely deranged and how this and how this this genocide started. Okay, how this how the consent for the genocide was manufactured in Zionist society. Maybe react to Israeli television on or YouTubers. Maybe I can do that, but to be honest, I don't watch any Israeli television. I don't watch any Israeli YouTubers, so I don't know who I should react to. I can try to do it though. I can try to do it. But maybe we will do a few more episodes of Israeli Facebook because I think this is also very instructive. And someone look up my yoga teacher, Lee Fertig. Yeah, okay. And translate for me. Oh, yeah, Maggie, we were talking about this. Okay. So anyway, so please tell me if you want this series to continue. I can show you a lot more of what is going on Hebrew Facebook. She only had 23K. Yes, because she speaks to a very specific clique. Okay, maybe someone who is more famous. Yes, if you go to Hanoch Daum has 630,000 followers. So we can look at Hanoch Daum. He is more famous. Okay, and yeah, we can look at what famous people are writing, and this is an integral part of the propaganda machine of Zionism. Okay. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me in this live session. I hope you learned about how Israelis think, how Zionists think, and how the propaganda machine works by using one example of Ortal Bendayan, but it's a very representative example. Okay, it's like different flavors of the same thing. I will show you different Facebook profiles, and you will see the things start repeating themselves. It's different flavors of the same kind of bullshit. Okay, so until next time, thank you so much, and free Palestine, and free the entire planet, and free all living beings. Bye bye.